A crafty package came in the mail yesterday, and I can't wait to show you what new goodies I have in my craft room. My craft room is currently a disaster. I need to organize, clean, purge, and declutter. And these came at the most perfect time because these are going to help me put things back in order. So what these are the latest additions from Spellbinders to the Spellbinders Craft Stack organization trays. I have mentioned craft stacks several times on my YouTube channel previously, and I use craft stacks to hold, store, and organize my die cuts, my projects, my dies, my stencils, depending on what type of project or what type of product I'm using or what I'm working on. Let me show you what the craft stacks are in case you're not sure and in case you're new to the craft stacks concept. Here I have a few craft stacks from my stash. This is one, let me get this out of the way. So this is one where I have a collection of products stored together. So these all come from one collection. I believe this is home for the holidays. You can see that I have some betterpress plates, some coordinating dies. I have some sentiments that I have already created. I have some die sets. I have some background plates. I have something else in here. So I have lots of goodies. The craft stacks come in two different sizes. They come in a large size. This is the large size. This measures, let's measure so that I can tell you the exact measurements. So these measure about 6.5 by 9.5 inches. They also come in a small size, and the small size is about a half of the large size. These small craft stacks stack nicely, as well as the large ones, hence the name. Now, they all stack on top of each other beautifully, so you can have multiple large craft stacks stacked together like this, and then you can stack these small craft stacks on top, or you can just stack these small craft stacks. So these released from Spellbinders sometime earlier this year. I don't remember exactly when, and they have become hugely popular because, you know, they're fantastic. They're nice and easy to use, nice and easy to store and organize. These are quite deep, so you can put a lot of products inside. Now, they are not deep enough for you to store your ink pads. For example, here I have the Simon Says stamp ink, and you can see that the ink pads are too big to be put inside. So if you are planning to use these for storing ink pads, these are not going to work. These work great for stamps. If you have a stamp set you can put inside, for storing dies, for storing betterpress plates. You can probably store embossing folders in these larger trays. I personally use these to store my projects as I'm working on them. I like to work with a certain collection at a time. So when I'm working on a collection, I just put it in a craft stack like I have here, and I can store the sentiments and all the little bits and pieces. These come in 3 different options. You can get the option with the large craft stacks, you can get the option with the small craft stacks, and you can get a combo where you have 1 large craft stack and 2 small craft stacks to test out the size and see which size works best for you. Personally, I like both sizes because, again, depending on what I'm working on, these really fit the bill nicely for me. You can use not only the container itself, but also the lid, because there is a little bit of a lip here. So you can put little bits and pieces on top here as well and store it like that. Here are some of my other craft stacks already with some pieces inside. Here, for example, I have some floral die cuts created with my floral dies. So this is like 1 die set. I have the die cuts nicely stored so I can come back to them anytime. I don't have to toss these away as I'm creating. I can either pull some pre-made die cuts from here, or as I'm die cutting new pieces and I'm using them, or maybe I have some leftovers, I can put them in the craft stacks. Then here's another one with a poppy. So I have the poppy die, and I also have the poppy die cuts in here. Here is another one with more dies and more die cuts. I will say these are a little bit hard to open. So just be careful because I have broken a nail trying to open these. So just, keep that in mind and be careful. In addition to the craft stacks, Spellbinders also recently released these craft stack accessories, and these are silicone bands. So there is a pack of the large silicone bands. I have mine here. I have started using some already. And there's also a pack of these small silicone bands. And obviously the large ones go over the large craft stacks, and the small ones work with the small craft stacks. The craft stacks have a little notch here, so if you want to, you can just put your rubber band or silicone band around a couple of these, like so, and they will stay together nicely. Or you can also use the band in the opposite direction like this. Although when you do use these silicone bands, they prevent the containers from stacking nicely together. So it's best to have several stacked and then use the silicone band like this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the new products that came in the mail yesterday. This tape, I have received it a while back. This is a labeling tape, and this is another wonderful product. It's adhesive tape that you can put on the edge of your craft stack and just label whatever is inside. So you can use it like this. Real quick, let me grab a piece, add it to the side of the craft stack, and then you just need to use a marker. A permanent marker is best, and just write whatever is stored in here. So I'm just going to write generic dies. The things that I received in my crafty package yesterday are the new magnetic panels or inserts for the craft stacks. They come in 3 different sizes. There are the medium panels, the large panels, and then there's a combo pack, which includes 2 medium panels and 1 large panel. The cool thing about those is that, well, first of all, they are magnetic. Second of all, look at them. They are so pretty. So they have the Spellbinders logo on them. They're nice and white. They are magnetic only on the white side. Let me grab a die and show you. So let's try and use these rectangles. So you can see the rectangles stick to the white side nicely because that is magnetic. But if I flip it to the back, they don't stick to the back at all because the back is not magnetic. So if you want to have several of those panels inside your craft stack, you can. There's also a little notched corner, and that allows you to grab these and remove these from the craft stack easily. See, it's like a piece of cake. Okay, let me go ahead and move these dies, the rest of the dies, onto the magnetic insert. I love that they're white because, well, white just looks nice and clean. Nice and neat. I do have magnetic panels that I use to store my dies, but I am looking forward to using these in the craft stacks because these are going to help me keep all of my dies, well, not all of my dies, but the dies that I'm currently working with nice and organized. I can also use these for some of my most used products, like maybe dies that I use to cut panels most often, or sentiment plates and dies, things like that. So super excited about those. So there I have added the rectangles. I can add another panel on top the dies that are on this panel are not sticking to the other panel because it's not magnetic from the back. So this keeps things nice and organized. So I can have my rectangle dies in here, and then I can have my oval dies in another craft stack, and or be more organized this way. So yay for that, super excited. I look forward to organizing my craft room and bringing a little less chaos to my crafty area, my crafty space, because it has become a real disaster. These are all the new products that I wanted to mention and show you. I hope you are as excited about them as I am. I'm all about organizing and making sure that my products are easy to find. So these are really nice additions. By the way, how many are there? So there are 2 large, and the small one, the small one had 4. So technically you would put 2 in one, because when you are buying the craft stacks, you're getting 2 small. So if you're buying the magnetic inserts, you're getting 4. So you can put 2 in each or 1 in each, depending, depending on how many pieces, how many elements, if you want to put dies or die cuts in here. So you have options as to how you can distribute those among your craft stacks. Also, if you don't have craft stacks, you can use these just like that without the craft stacks. Maybe you can have them sitting in a container, like in a plastic container on a shelf or something like this. But I do think that they work the best in these craft stacks from Spellbinders. So that's it for me for today. Thanks for joining me. Love you guys, and I'll see you again soon.